Yes, it's been 7 days in the making, but finally it's time for Team India to make an appearance. My 11 Circle presents Cricbuzz Live. This is the big one, South Africa against India at Southampton, the Rose Bowl. And will it be roses for one side or the other? The sun's out, so lots of good news there. And of course, on behalf of the entire team here, to everyone out there, it's Eid Mubarak on behalf of myself, as I said, and the other members of the team. We have a new member in the studio today, and let me start by introducing him. Kaif bhai, Eid Mubarak आपके लिए.
आपको भी ईद मुबारक. सबको जितने भारतवासी हैं उनको भी ईद मुबारक. Let's have a good show.
Yes, of course, and that's the beauty of this, the secular nature of our country. It's not just for Kaif bhai. Eid Mubarak to you as well, Robin.
Thank you very much. Wish you the same. Eid Mubarak, Kaif bhai.
So it's the occasion, we've waited for it, we've built up to it, and now I think all the boxes have been ticked. And I think, do you think for a team like India, I know we've asked Virat Kohli the questions, but sitting here, and you've been in India colours before, do you think there have been a few butterflies because of the weight?
Well, there certainly would be, because it's their first game in the World Cup. But I think with having them waited for so long, I think it's more of an advantage, because they get to see teams playing in different conditions. What teams are playing, what kind of players teams are playing in leading up to each game. So they have a lot of information on hand, which is good, I think, which is an advantage when you're playing a big tournament like this.
And I think that's exactly when we asked Virat Kohli at the press conference, a long press conference, and he was very candid about that, as he always is. And he said he thinks it's a bit of an advantage in terms of understanding how the games have gone, conditions have to offer. He repeated that at the toss today, and a lot to learn, particularly from what other teams have done. And I think more than everything else, it's what other teams have done, because you don't know how a World Cup's going to go, and you've seen teams who have had to come back from being many wickets down. So that way, to see everyone else perform, you sit back and say, okay, now we know what to do.
And the fans' point of view, अगर मैं बोलूँ कि बहुत देर कर दी, मेहरबा आते आते उनका इंतज़ार इतनी देर से कर रहे थे कि इंडिया टीम कब खेलेगी. But I think Virat is right. You spend a couple of weeks there. They have played 2-hour matches, and they have done well, especially against Bangladesh. So once you win the game and then you have a long break and you've been practicing and sorting things out, you are in a happy space because you have won the game. Had that game played later, say against New Zealand, losing the game and then spending 1 week, no matches, it would be a disaster for them, because you want to be on the road, and Indian teams want to play the kind of players you have in the squad. In the IPL they travel play, practice. Some players don't like to practice; they want to play matches. But I think Virat is right, especially in condition like this. You spend time, get used to the condition, and see how the teams are playing, and especially South Africa first game, they would know how to play against them.
Yes, certainly. They've had their share of fun, they've had their share of paintball, and this is what their schedule looks like going ahead. The first game today in Southampton against South Africa, and then it's Australia, New Zealand, Pakistan, and other than that little gap between England and Bangladesh when they spend a few days in Birmingham, there seems to be a nice, well spread out schedule.
Well, yeah, I think this is one of the advantages of being the top team in world cricket. I think you get a very good schedule, and they've got a fantastic schedule. Enough break for them to travel and feel fresh and refreshed between each games, and enough time to even practice and iron out any wrinkles that may be there in each one of the individual games. So I think it's kind of just right for India, and I think they'll want to make the most of this schedule.
And of course, I mean, the inevitable question to him was, how tough are the pressures for you as a captain? How challenging is it for a captain? And took that on his chin, as he always does. Tough for any captain, and which is absolutely a fact. Playing 9 games. And I think what he secretly didn't say over there is you're really looking at 11 games and not 9 games if you go on to qualify for the semi-finals and then the final. But yes, that's the beauty of that reply, is that he's focused on the 9 games. Yes, you're expecting India to reach the semi-finals, but let's not get too ahead of ourselves.
I feel it's a bit easier if you play a round robin 9 matches. It's not so much pressure. When you play group matches, we have seen in 2007.
That's true.
It's not that easy. Losing 1 or 2 games, you are out.
Yeah.
This is a long tournament. If you lose few matches, you still come back. If you win 5 or 6 matches, you are there in the top 4. So I think Robin was there.
Yes, he was.
Yeah,
he was.
Yeah, it wasn't
just 2 matches and they were out.
Yeah.
And India had the strongest side on that tournament, in that tournament, to be honest. So I think one bad game here and there, you can lose the spot. But this format, will allow you to keep coming back. If you start badly, you have a chance to come back, and a strong team would win the tournament.
Robin, a very serious question, a very serious technical question before we go forward, since he did say 2007. Which was a bigger blow, not qualifying or being caught by Dwayne Leverock?
Not qualifying. Come on, man. What kind of a question is that?
No, I was just trying to make light of it because we all remember that iconic moment.
Yeah,
I mean,
but you know the pain of that, of not qualifying, and I think like Kaif Bhai just mentioned, I think this kind of tournament gives any team an opportunity to come back. So you can't write any team off. I think it's a great format. I think it's the way they've organized this tournament is great. Gives every team an opportunity to really come back into the tournament at any given point in time. So like for instance, South Africa have lost the first couple of games, and then if they go on to win the next 3, they put themselves in a really good position, right? So I think the fact that it's an IPL-esque tournament where each team plays the other one in a round robin format, I think gives everyone a chance to qualify, which I think is fantastic.
You love saying round robin so many times. No? It was named after you. I wasn't trying to bring up a painful memory.
No,
I wanted to bring up Dwayne Leverock.
No, I know, but it's just that the pain of not qualifying in that tournament is far more painful than that catch.
Also for the fans, you want to see India-Pakistan game, you want to see India-Australia game,
Absolutely,
you want to see
We agree.
India playing
Absolutely,
England. So it's a great format. I love this format, round robin.
Yes?
Yeah.
A reminder, let's come back 12 years later. Little confusion at the toss, but it was all sorted out. It was Faf du Plessis who won the toss, decided to bat first, and this is the Indian 11. A lot of talk about that, but this is where we are settling in with possibly with South Africa being the opposition, Yuzvendra Chahal and Kuldeep Yadav, both the wrist spinners playing, and Bhuvaneshwar Kumar comes in ahead of Mohammad Shami. So perhaps a bit of movement over pace, that could be the thinking there, but either way, it's an embarrassment of riches.
It is. I think I'm really glad that Kulcha are playing. To have both these guys playing against South Africa with their record against South Africa in South Africa when they were last there, I think it's great to have both of them. So it'll be playing in the back of the South Africans' minds. I like the fact that Virat has chosen to go with Bhuvi because he's had an up and down year. So I think entrusting him with that spearhead along with Bumrah will give him a lot of confidence. And I think Shami is mentally extremely strong. So in spite of him doing so well in the last 6, 8, 12 months in one-day cricket, I think he wouldn't mind playing second fiddle to Bhuvi and to Bumrah.
You, just before the show, you were talking about number 8, maybe not quite this particular number 8, but still, if you compare like for like, Bhuvaneshwar Kumar versus Mohammad Shami, maybe a little bit more in the batting option?
See, it's early summer in England, so you'll have a bit of seam movement, you'll have overcast conditions. So Bhuvanesh, see, if you want to write him off, you can drop him. You play Shami, but you want to give the players confidence.
Yeah.
And he's been there for longer period of time, and this is the squad been winning the matches for Virat Kohli.
Yeah.
If you see last 2 years, the kind of record Virat Kohli got as a captain because of these boys, and he's backing them. I think it's a good team, very good team for the first game. You want to give the first word to Bhuvanesh Kumar. You go and have a go. You got the strength, you got the swing, you got the backing of the captain and the management. Show it all. I think he can do that, and then he's been there for a longer period of time. He plays all the format, Test, T20. He's got lots of experience. Recently, of course, not. If you compare to Shami, the average-wise, he's not been taking wickets with the new ball. But 9 matches, you want to give him a go and see how it goes.
Absolutely. I think kudos to Virat for making that call. I think the fact that he's backed his premier bowler, he's had an off 6 to 12 months, but compared to how he generally is, it's still not very bad. It's still all right, but the fact that he's backing Bhuvi is very heartening to see, especially at this stage in the tournament, at the very start of the tournament, to back your best bowlers, back your best, as in back someone who's done really well for you, is going to give Bhuvi a lot of confidence and is going to want him to really do well for the team.
Also, number 8, he would like to hang around with the likes of Dhoni and Kedar. You're not someone to hang around. Say with the new ball, if they are three down in 10 overs, you need someone who can finish the game off. So you need to have Dhoni. Pandey will be doing the same kind of role, and Kedar Jadhav. I think you need to have someone batting number 8 who can hang around and probably put runs on the board and build partnerships.
Yes, Kedar Jadhav back in the side as well. But the fact that Team India are playing with such valuable players means when you're picking your My 11 Circle team, it makes it that much tougher in a game like this, India versus South Africa. So step 1 is simple. get to the website, download the app. Step 2 gets a little bit harder when you start to create your own team, because it's not just Dada Kavada that you're fighting against. This time, I can tell you, Dada knows all about Team India. He'll pick a very, very crack team, and you'll have a tougher time doing that. But we know all of you have it in you. We know Robin Uthappa has it in him to do that. So
I've had a tough time today picking that side, man. It's been
so have I. Trust me. Just because I'm 2-0 up, I'm not going to gloat about that, because you just have to leave out players you really desperately want.
Yeah, really, it's so hard to kind of pick everyone, and you know, as much as you want to pick everyone, you just don't have enough credits to pick, you know, the right. And so it's very hard to get the combination right. You're just going to hope that you pick who you pick and hope they come off. You know?
Not everyone can be as lucky as Virat Kohli. He gets to pick 11 players or 10 more to play alongside him. But another gentleman who has been captain of England, he's been in our Cricbuzz Live studios, and now he's centre stage in England. Let's hear from Michael Vaughan.
Nearly a week into the tournament, and finally India are going to play their first game. I've got to show you this. Look at this weather. It's absolutely pouring it down. I'm up north, but I'm travelling to Southampton, where I believe it's raining as well. Can't believe it. Raining in the UK. Would you believe it? Now, what do we expect from India? Well, I think over the course of the 6 days so far, we've seen that bowling has been a real key. Bumrah's going to be a massive player for them, the #1 bowler in the world. Then it'll be down to the likes of Bhuvneshwar Kumar, Hardik Pandya, can he bowl some pace? And then the spin twins of Chahal and Kuldeep Yadav. These pitches will suit India. I know there's moisture around, you can see it's absolutely pelting it down, but these pitches are dry underneath, so the spin twins are going to play a massive role. Bouncers, they've been the key. Quick bouncers, we saw the West Indies, we've seen Jofra Archer bowl some sharp bounces. I think pace is going to be a massive player for all the captains across this World Cup. Virat Kohli, for India to win the World Cup, it's always a dead obvious one. He's going to have a storming tournament. Consistency from number 3. You know, these platforms that the top order are setting for those scores to go on and get 320 plus. You know, you've got to have your star quality players in form. So Virat Kohli will know that he's, I wouldn't say he's 50% of India's batting, but I'd say he's around 35% of India's batting. So he's going to have a great tournament. Hardik Pandya, I really am looking forward to seeing Hardik play in the UK. His IPL was a revelation, that hitting at the end, and he's just got that know-how and that quality of wanting to be the star player. We saw Ben Stokes in that first game against South Africa, fielding, bowling, batting. I think Hardik Pandya's got it in him to be that kind of player for India. What do we expect from Southampton? The pitch, be a good one. It will be a good one. It's quite a big boundary, so spin will be the play, because the boundaries are so big, so the spinners feel that they can just get it in the air a little bit and give it a tweak. So I think spin will be the play. India against South Africa, they've looked poor. 2 games where they've looked poor. Their thinking's not been straight. Faf du Plessis winning the toss in the second game on a used pitch against Bangladesh and bowling at the Oval. That's poor thinking, and they just look like they're playing like individuals, not a team. But we saw from Pakistan yesterday that write any team off in this World Cup at your peril. Anyway, it's time for me to get down to Southampton. Let's hope the weather's a bit better. Ta-ra!
So English, isn't it, to be huddled up inside a car trying to get your point across, and that pouring rain outside. But of course there's no rain in Southampton. But the point he makes is about the spinners, and we've got 4 wrist spinners playing in this game: Tahir, Shamsi, Kuldeep and Chahal.
I think that just goes to show what kind of a wicket they're playing on. I think we saw on the pitch report that it's got grass, but it's not green at all. It looks a little rough, and you have a feeling that with the spinners playing in the later half of the game, the fast bowlers will probably get the ball to reverse as well a little bit. So it's going to be a good game. I think they also unfortunately with with South Africa, with their situation right now, with staying out, also makes them, I think, want to back their batting a lot more than the bowling. And I think it's good to have Shamsi playing.
The interesting one there, of course, Shamsi coming in, that's a forced change in a sense for Lungi and Gidi. But with Hashim Amla coming back into the side, they had to choose. Is the replacement David Miller good enough to keep his place, or was Aiden Markram the one they had to sacrifice?
I think given that David Miller's got has played a lot more to the spinners in the IPL than Aiden Markham has, so I think that's why they've gone with David Miller, and I think it's also nice for him, as in the fact that he's come into the side. You might as well give him a couple of games, and I think they had a like-for-like replacement with Aiden Markham. And
Also, he missed the first game. Miller did not play the first game.
Yeah, he didn't play the first game. That's
So
why
when you brought someone for the second game, just keep. You cannot drop him again.
Immediately,
you want to have him a long go. He's been an experienced player for Miller, and he got some runs in the last game. He looked good. He got out after settling down. But I think it's a good team. And like you said, forced team because lots of injuries, issues within South African team, and they look nervous, to be honest. First game, they fielded first, gave away 300 plus runs and couldn't chase down. And against Bangladesh, that was a big loss. Especially against Bangladesh, if you don't win those points, especially and then again up against India, the big teams will gonna be facing in the next few rounds. So I think against Bangladesh, they'll be on the back foot, to be honest. And that's why he's batting first here today, because he lost 2 matches chasing. So his bowler did not deliver bowling first, probably chasing. Batting first here would be the option to win the game.
But you were not with us on the previous show. It's very dangerous to talk about Bangladesh in this one. We have concluded here on the show that it was not an upset. It was just a good win for Bangladesh.
Yes, it was definitely a good win for Bangladesh. I'm all about that. I think they've been a side that's really come in, over the last 10 years. They've really developed as a team. They've stuck to players. They've allowed players to grow within the setup, and they're the team that they are today. So I don't think that was an upset. I just think it was 2 good teams playing, and the better team won on that day.
Another key man for South Africa will have to be QDK, because he loves India. Remember the time he scored 300s in 3 ODIs against India? That was his ODI debut, incidentally, and he just piled it on against India. He's got 500s and 150 against India. What a conversion rate. Strike rate of 92, average of 64. I know this is a different stage, a big stage, but he has to be the danger man, especially against Kulcha.
And with the experience, he's been playing in the IPL, he's been traveling around, and from the last World Cup, he's come a long way. If you talk about top 5 run getters, he's one of them. Talk about Kohli's and Fab 4, and he's there. So I think he's got the strength. He likes playing the pull shot, square of the area, the point covers region. And I think playing in the IPL, you as a player you improve, because it's a pressure cooker situation. Playing in the IPL and playing for Mumbai Indians, winning the IPL trophy, and the venue he plays at, pitch, it's green, bouncy, so that suits him. I think he'll enjoy this tournament. I think he played well in the first game, got some runs. Second game got run out. Unfortunately, with Markram. There was Markram call. It was never his fault. Yeah. So I think he's been feeling good. I think he's the danger man for India in this game.
So Markram's been punished for that.
Yeah, it was his call. And as a batsman, you actually, when the ball goes behind,
it's always the non-striker.
You're always looking at the non-striker end, and you see how is he calling, what is his reactions and all. So Markram came in calling yes, and he reacted, and then he said no. He was.
Yeah, that was unfortunate.
He could not come back.
But you have to say, I mean, we were just chatting the other day about how rare the Chinaman variety, I know it's again another term you're not supposed to use, so left arm wrist spin is generally a rare variety. But imagine having 2 of them in the same game. You've probably got maybe 6 or 7 well-known such bowlers in the world, and you've already got Shamsi and Kuldeep playing in the same game.
It's good, isn't it? I think it brings a lot of variety into the game as well. I think it also it shows that the game is going in different directions, and a lot of people have opportunities. People are coming up with unique bowling actions, mystery bowlers and all of that. And I think
Kuldeep tough to keep to?
No, he's actually quite simple. He's a very sharp bowler, and an extremely aggressive bowler at that. He backs himself completely, and I think he's very brave as a bowler. You see him tossing up the ball, which you don't see a lot of people doing in this era, where sixes are the name of the game today. Hitting big 6s and 4s are the name of the game. But he's very brave in that sense to back himself, kind of bamboozle the batsman with flight. And I really like him. I think he's an extremely positive guy who wants to do well and high on confidence. Agreed, he had a little off-color IPL, but I don't think this tournament he'll be up and ready for it, especially having MS behind the stumps.
But what Virat said, in fact, Virat was asked about this, that someone like Kuldeep Yadav maybe has had not a great IPL, so hence does he feature in your plans? And Virat came straight back at that question saying, IPL and World Cup are two different things.
Yep.
He's had a situation where he scored 1 million runs in the IPL and then couldn't score a run after that.
Yep.
And he said just the reverse can happen. If you have a bad IPL, trust me, Kuldeep Yadav is going to come back strong, and it's the batsmen who have to watch out, not the other way around.
Definitely. I love the answer. He has to back his players. A few bad games here and there, different formats cannot rule the players out. And he's been playing so well last couple of years. If you see after the Champions Trophy where India lost to Pakistan, they made changes. They dropped Ashwin, they dropped Jadeja, and then brought two leg spinners, the wrist spinners.
And these numbers in South Africa, which is why we are putting these numbers up, because that's the opposition they're playing.
Yep.
Those averages, 33 wickets you're saying between them.
Yep. Absolutely, and one bad tournament doesn't define an athlete, right? I think in the consistency with which he's been playing over the years, bowling in tandem and bowling so well as they do, bowling in tandem, there's a lot of pressure, on the opposition. I think anyone who's going to be playing the Indian spin department in this World Cup are not going to be extremely confident. They're going to be watchful because they're going to play them once, right? It's not like they're playing them over and over again like a bilateral series. So for a fact that these guys are going to be dangerous in this tournament. And for India to win the World Cup, these two will play a big role.
Yeah, exactly right. And very different bowlers to each other, because Kuldeep likes to flight the ball. His speed about 77 k's per hour. Chahal is different. He's a little faster, he's got variation, he's very clever.
He's very clever.
Two different bowlers.
Chahal plays chess with the opposition even now.
Absolutely,
Yes, exactly right. And I like the way Kohli backing his players, because in the past he has not done that.
Yeah.
In the past he hasn't backed his players a lot, and probably he's doing it here because he knows it's a big tournament. You want those main players playing and in form to win this World Cup.
I think that's also the evolution of Virat as a captain. I think he's becoming a leader more and more. He's always been a good captain, but in his pursuit of excellence, sometimes he's probably missed out a little bit of leadership. But I think he's seen that gap and he's filling that gap right now. So kudos to him also to actually kind of recognize where he needs to improve on himself, and he's actually applying that today in such a big tournament, which is fantastic to watch as an Indian fan.
Certainly is, and I think the conclusion here is that it's the wrist spinners are going to be asking all the questions of the batsmen, with South Africa batting first, but we also ask a few questions of our fans. No more than Joy Bhattacharya, who comes up with his joy factor question, and let's see what the question that he has for us today. An opening match of a global T20 event, and by global T20 we mean an ICC T20 event, it's just used as a loose term globally, saw the T20 international debuts of two players, both of whom played for more than one country in their careers. Name the tournament and the players. Now this is something you need to think about. Thumbs up from Joy. No hints, gentlemen. All if you need to give your answer in, hashtag Cricbuzz Live. We've just got a few seconds left. We're going to take a prediction and then we're going to leave you with a very interesting little VT. But first, let's get a prediction. My 11 Circle
Go first.
Expert Couch. So in the mid-show, whoever gets closest to the predicted score gets to sit on a very special couch that is there. So Kaif Bhai, as the newcomer here, you get to go first. How much will South Africa score?
I think 270 to 80.
Give us a score. Which one?
270.
अच्छा पूरा एग्जैक्ट बोलना है?
पूरा एग्जैक्ट बोलना है.
अरे ये तो
एक नंबर बोलना है आपको बस.
ये तो कोई जो ज्योतिष भी अभी नहीं बोल पा रहे एग्जैक्ट नंबर तो कोई.
No, but you have 15 runs this side, 15 runs that side.
Let's say 280.
280, all right.
All right. I'll say 265.
265 and kulcha. That diet in Southampton with a little bit of masala on top is not going to be easy for the South Africans. So they'll get runs, but it'll be a relatively easy chase with 250. Even 250 for South Africa is what I'm giving. So we've got a nice little spread over there. But of course, there's been this fabulous debate that we've had. So as we end the show, we are going to see you in the 15th over. Cricbuzz Combox and My 11 Circle presents Cricbuzz Live. We'll be back at the halfway mark, but we'll leave you with this, our own interpretation of that debate that has finally probably been answered of India's number 4 slot.
मित्रों, आपकी बार बैट्समैन नंबर 4. The nation wants to know who is going to be number 4.
अरे वाह यार, नंबर 4 कौन होगा यार?
भारत के पास है चुनौती. कौन होगा इंडिया का नंबर 4? आपके पास 12 ऑप्शन है. कंप्यूटर जी.
Knock, knock on the door. I'm BCCI. Let's shop for number 4. Now, who's the guy?
लाखों खिलाड़ी, let's begin the safari. The first one we tried is Manoj Tiwari.
Karthik, Kedar, we even tried Rahane. Itne sare trials, Kohli ran out of bahane. Guessing, it's stressing like it's stole mole ke bowl. My homework isn't done and they found the black hole.
वो पीछे तो देखो, नंबर 4 उधर है. Who will be India's number 4? यार राजो, बता ना राजो, 4 कौन रहेगा रे?
Tired and hungry, I need to have a bite. So much of food, now the punt won't fit right. Yuva Hoya, Yuvi, even Dhoni gave us hints, but all they could manage is part-time stints.
अरे भाई, part-time stints? ये क्या है?
Like Laila, Majnu, Kuku, Gaitonde, we tried a love story with Hardik and Pandey. Kept rolling the dice, playing Samp and CD. Raidu is gone, time for Shankar in 3D. Itna sara chaos, socha ab kya hoga? Warmed up against Bangla and said, Rahul, naam to suna hoga.